Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want, and today we're going to be going through more fat acceptance cringe compilations. So yeah, let's just get into this and I hope you all enjoy. So, this person says, characters who used to be fat.
Let's talk about the formerly fat character trope, aka the flashback fatty. Probably the most common examples of this trope are Fat Schmidt and Fat Monica from New Girl and Friends, respectively. And with both of these characters, we see their fat selves completely just treated as jokes, but also, bullied in horrifying ways. In fact,
I have no idea who these people are, and I don't really care. I do have to say, though, that as a cartoonist, yes, the entire, build-up of a fat person on a just general character design basis is usually clumsy, lazy. It's connotated with, being a side character, being considered funny, jovial, comical. There are tons of examples from TV shows to cartoons to media, and it's just one of the tropes. It's the equivalence of a blonde being dumb, or a jock being really strong and a bully, or a nerd being really smart with glasses. If you have glasses, you're a nerd, that kind of thing. It's very common. I don't really believe in the justification of such, but at the end of the day, these are just easy tropes that everybody in society understands, which is why they're commonly utilized by the makers of the media that you are involved with. It's literally just a decision to make characters more easily understandable so that you don't have to ask about their whole character breakdown. You kind of already know. It adds context without actually adding context because it's a stereotype. Does that make sense?
Actual fat person were being bullied that much, I think, even in the 90s or whenever, I really think that it would be treated as a tragedy and not a sitcom. But since we know the character is in a fat suit, that's the humor, and we'll let anything slide. Both Fat Schmidt and Fat Monica are food obsessed and rarely think or talk about anything else. They're also portrayed as very dumb and very naive, and yeah, they are younger versions, but I don't think it's a coincidence. Something that I do think is probably true to life is that the older versions of Schmidt and Monica are defined very much in opposition to their former fat selves, and so they look at their past selves as almost completely separate people who, if they're not careful, they might turn back into. So much so that the current characters feel just completely different people from their previous fat selves, which I think is how a lot of formerly fat people see their past self. Which makes sense because the characterizations we see of fatness in fat people are so stereotypical and narrow that they just don't even can't coalesce with a whole character or person.
This is in most cases with everything, just to mention. I'll have to look into the context of the show that this person is referring to and the content and the flashbacks and stuff. I'll do a little checkup on that just to kind of know what we're talking about here. But to add this in, this is with everything and everybody. It's not just fat people. They do this all the time with blonde people, girls, guys. In TV, media, cartoons, again, this is super common. It's just you're stereotyping a character so you don't have to design them as, in depth. And you can just utilize an already, pre-made character skin almost to get the audience to know what you're talking about without having to explain what you're talking about. So, yeah, that's kind of the point of all of this. It happens with everybody. I'm not saying it's good because I think it's kind of lazy, but at the same time, some of these shows are lazy, so who fucking cares?
When we're thinking only in tropes, obviously a fat trope is going to be different than a not fat trope. Even if the not fat character's trope is supposedly a result of their prior fatness. I think that depicting characters this way does so much fucking damage because when we are separating the prior self from the current self, we are encouraging people not to see fat people as people. Obviously, the person who is not in the current timeline is going to be viewed as a little bit less of a person. And obviously, the person in the fat suit is going to be viewed as less of a real person. And obviously, the person whose entire character is just tired stereotypes is gonna feel like a two-dimensional caricature cutout. And that makes everybody see fat people in that way, especially because there's so little representation besides that. I talk a lot more about Fat Monica in my solo show, so...
Okay, she's gonna be talking about her podcast and stuff, and I don't care. But the one thing I have to say is, this is actually a very interesting concept, but I feel like this is more of an extreme perception. Most of the time in shows and media and all this stuff, I don't know about you guys, but there's a stereotype for everything. And if you don't like it, you can dismantle all the stereotypes and all that stuff and say, oh, all these stereotypes are super extreme and terrible. But they're there, and you can't really avoid them, and at some point, if you take them all away, someone else will find something to bitch about. So, I don't know. I like the breakdown of this and the deep thought that goes into this perception, and I'd like to do a little research on these character designs. But this is also a little weird, though, because we're taking something that's a character in a fake world, and sure, like, it's, played out in the real world. It's like, kind of like a concept that's, extending outwards, but at the same time, they're taking a fake character, they're taking something that isn't real, and they're bringing it into reality, and they're pulling other people's perceptions of themselves into the perceptions the characters have of themselves. It's relatable in some regard, but I think it's not maybe the most accurate representation. Or if you're, comparing yourself to an inaccurate representation, that might also be bad, but I don't know. This is interesting. I actually don't mind this. Sometimes I'll hear this person talking because I've seen them before in other compilations, and I don't actually entirely disagree with what they have to say, I don't think. I think I've seen them before talking about other things, and I'm like, yeah, makes sense. So I don't know. I like the deep thought that went into this, though. I'll have to check it out. Hug your knees, then.
Love that I made a video saying fat people can do anything you can do, sometimes better, and some people are taking it so literally.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, if you proclaim being able to do everything better than somebody who's a normal weight, then yes, that will create people who question you. Like, on the basis of just doing something basic, like hugging your knees, bro. What are you talking about? I wonder if I can even hug my knees. Yeah, alright, good enough. I don't do it often, and there was a lot of work that went into that, so I don't know.
Like, picking their brains apart to try and find things that fat people can't do. Newsflash, some fat people can do that stuff.
She can't. Unless she does it, she can't. She's basically proving the point right now by making this TikTok. Why would you make this TikTok? If you're trying to prove a point, how on earth are you going to make this TikTok and not hug your knees, bro? I'm just saying. I'm not here to say that you have to, but I'm just saying, if somebody comments when you say, we can do anything as fat people better than other people, or whatever, or just as good, if not better, and then somebody makes a comment, hug your knees then, leave the comment. Don't make a TikTok dismantling it and saying, well, some people can do it when they're fat, because then the people will be like, so you can't, and then you're like, I didn't say I can't, and now you can't. You've proclaimed that you cannot by making this TikTok. I'm calling it out. Please hug your knees or you are absolutely bamboozled, my lady.
Some can't, but some can. And you're just making assumptions based on what you've heard, read, whatever. I don't know. Just assumptions that are wrong. And I don't even know. Like, what? Like,
Bro, you're making, like, false proclamations about the abilities of fat people and their ability to do everything better or the same as other people who are more able-bodied. Like, it's just so comical and ironic. This is just so ironic. This is the kind of content, I'm not trying to laugh at this person or be mean. This is the kind of mentality that people fall into, or the appeals to the irony of things and the way that people, like, try and defend themselves. This is the kind of, like, behavior and stuff that makes me laugh. I'm not trying to be a bully and mean, but I am going to totally laugh at this because it is funny if they can't hug their knees. I know that's not even the point. It's not even the point of hugging the knees. It's just literally the fact that this entire argument is being perpetuated continuously, and it's getting worse as the TikTok goes along.
And I'm a little bit upset with myself because, you know, I see these comments and something in me is like, prove yourself. Like, show these people that they're wrong. And I shouldn't have to do that. Neither should you. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. These people.
This is a terrible defensive tactic. When you make a claim and then somebody asks you to prove your claim and you can't prove it, it shows that you can't actually do the thing that you are claiming to be able to do. It shows that instead, you're actually trying to defend yourself by saying, well, I just don't want to do the thing. It's not that I can't, it's because I don't want to. Why should I prove myself to you even though previously, with my last statement, I was endeavoring to kind of prove myself to you by saying that I, as a fat person, have just as much of an ability to do these things as you, a thin person, or an able-bodied or normal-bodied person. Like, you basically shot yourself in the foot. You shot yourself in the knee. I don't know. It's just stupid.
People just are sad. They're sad. That's all. They're sad. You know what I do when I see a video I don't like on TikTok? I long press on my screen and tell TikTok I don't like it, so I won't see it again. Wild concept, I know.
I mean, if you make a false claim, people can call you out on it. I just don't know what this person's going on about. I don't know why you're so defensive about this. Like, to go on in a TikTok about somebody making a comment on your previous TikTok, disagreeing with you, but then creating a video or a TikTok, like, basically calling out a comment, that creates even more insecurity. It just portrays your overall insecurity. Like, this is a terrible way to think. I'm not trying to just beat down on this person or anything like that. I don't really care that much. They can do whatever they want. They can, like, you know, fall into the void that is the internet. But when I see these kinds of things, this creates a really unhealthy mentality. It's a really toxic mindset, and it's a hyper defensive, trying to prove your point but you can't kind of mindset that's going to basically make you self-destruct. So it's not a good way to think, and I'd recommend either make a better argument or don't try and argue. Like, there are two ways you can go about this. Both are way better than what is going on here.
Why do you have to comment on videos you don't like and engage with them? You know, commenting helps, right? Okay, yeah. So why do you do it? Does it like tickle a little spot deep within you? Like,
yeah, it hits me in my cognitive G spots to argue. It's called being a fucking Italian. We love to argue about everything. I was gonna say it's called being a woman, but let's just be honest. That's probably pretty sexist to say. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna get canceled. You know what? Fuck it. Cancel me if you want. I don't care. I'm just being honest here. I do love arguing. Just ask anybody in my inner circle. They would say that Sage loves to argue.
why do you do this? I really cannot wrap my head around it because I would never do something like that. And I know a lot of people who would also never do something like that. So this small bunch of y'all that do it, I really don't understand. Like, I can't wrap my head around, like, why you people are like this. It's sad.
It's going on and on. Like, the defensiveness is just the endless loop of, I don't know why you would do this isms is just going off. And this is the kind of TikTok that just makes me so happy because it's so funny to me. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a jerkwad, but it's just so comical watching this kind of TikTok because I can't even take it seriously. Like, it's such a fail. I'm sorry, it is. It's a fail. Like, they goofed. They just goofed. It happens to everybody. I make my goofs as well, but this is a goof.
It really is. And these are the same people that will say, it's the internet. What do you expect? I don't know, maybe human decency? Like, kind of.
No, it's the internet. We don't have human decency here. We are all built on binary, bro. Like, we are here to call out anything we want. And I'm not here to bully people online or endorse that or endorse anybody being indecent to one another. But when somebody literally just calls you out on something that you claim, that is no bit indecent. It's a very human thing to do. Humans are naturally designed to judge, naturally designed to question, to call falsehoods out. You know, there's no shame in that. And there's no indecency with that, especially when this person didn't, like, call you a bad name. They aren't saying, you know, anything to you that would be like a call to violence or anything like that. They're not, you know, doing anything like threatening you. They're just telling you to hug your knees, bro. It is one of the least indecent things I've probably seen on the internet in a long time. Like, you know, you go onto Twitter, you're gonna get threats against your life for just disagreeing with somebody on the way a character in a cartoon looks. All right, you go on to, like, I don't know, BitChute, you're gonna hear people talking about the end of the world and that it's all the government. You know, you go on to 4chan, and we all love a good 4chanism, but geez Louise, 4chan can get wild. Same with Reddit. Like, Reddit can get wild. Like, all of these websites can get wild. Also, you can deal with things like internet stalking, you know, crazy forums, abuse. Go on to the dark web, gets way more crazy. This comment's more than decent compared to what the rest of the internet is. We are surface level, baby. So, I don't know, man. I have no complaints. I don't think this person's being particularly indecent. They're just calling you out, and people have the right to do that. This is the internet. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to weaponize, oh, this is the internet to actually create, like, a bullying situation or abuse somebody or, you know, to hurt somebody in some sort of horrible way. But you have the right to make a judgment on the internet and make a judgmental comment on the internet. And if you don't like it, then just don't go on the internet and post things that can be commented upon. Turn off your comments. I don't know. Like, it's just crazy.
Like, basic respect. Like,
basic respect is people respecting you enough to comment in your comments section and disagree with you. I think it's more respectful for somebody to do this, to make a comment and call you out, than to do half of the things that happen online. I don't know. I think that it is not any bit disrespectful to comment to somebody disagreeing with them or calling them out. I think it's a completely normal thing to do. It promotes this thing called free thinking and the ability to question people, and that's very important for a healthy society. I'm just saying.
I just wish that this wasn't like a norm, that we're supposed to expect stuff like this when we sign up to be on the internet.
I mean, if you make a claim, you gotta expect people to ask questions when you make a claim. Maybe get proof when you make a claim. And if you're the one making the claim, it is most easy for you to prove your claim. Just saying. And if you can't, then it looks even worse. It looks terrible.
And most of the people who comment stuff like that don't even have videos on their own pages, so.
Maybe they don't want to make videos, who knows. But the thing is, they have the right to comment. As a viewer, a subscriber, as just a viewer or somebody who doesn't like you, they have the right to comment. Like, I just don't get it, man.
Y'all are just literally just do something else, like anything else, or maybe
you know what the best thing is? Also asking for somebody who's commenting or calling you out to go do something else, go away. It's the best way to get a tirade of people like me. Oh my god, I'm feeding the loop. But like me, commenting on the comment that you are commenting upon because you commented on a comment. Or whatever. Oh my god, this is so funny. It's so ironic. But, yeah, the more you tell people to go away, don't look at me naked, go away. More people will look at you naked and not want to go away. They'll be watching you because you're making a spectacle of yourself. It's the same thing here. This person's acting like they're naked.
No, maybe just keep engaging with my video and helping me out.
Bro, this was funny. I'm sorry, I'm not even mad. I love this person. This fed my very soul. This fed all the little naughty parts of my brain, all the little neurological wires that got tripped a while ago. But, you know, all the little fried circuits in my skull have just been elated with the electric hue that is this lady. I'm in heaven. This is outstanding, and I love it. But yeah, if you're gonna make a claim, at least be able to prove it, and if you can't, then don't make the claim, because then this will happen. Or if you can't prove it, don't make a video commenting about how you just don't want to prove it, even though you can, but you don't want to because you don't need to prove yourself to them, because that also basically looks like you can't, to most people. So yeah, that's the video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think about this, that, the other, and this fine dame? And yeah, that's the video. I hope y'all enjoyed, my people, and I will see you all next time. It has been lovely. Slater.